we understand it's no surprise politicians get freebies. The question is whether the PM, the then Transport Minister, solicited these. He's come out and released a statement late yesterday afternoon saying that he didn't personally call Alan Joyce. It's very carefully worded. It doesn't say that he never contacted. There's other forms of communication, text message, in-person conversation, email, or other senior executives. He didn't wipe that clear either. He said that he didn't personally call Alan Joyce. It's the second day that the Prime Minister hasn't fronted the media. Why is that? Do we need to see him stand up and clear the air now, put an end to this? We're all sick of talking about it, but Anthony Albanese hasn't really put a full stop to this.
Well, he certainly has. He's answered those questions. I mean, the next round of questions will be, did he communicate in Morse code, in semaphore, through the medium of sign language? Did he see someone in the street and wave at them? Like, honestly, it becomes more and more ridiculous. But in contradistinction to that, you've got the people who are running the smear job with egg all over their face already. It's only Thursday. And you've got a Prime Minister who's focused on the issues that matter for Australians. Like what the approach on the cost of living, tax cuts for every single Australian wage earner, relief that has actually been part of making sure inflation is falling. A discipline in distinction to the last crowd who talked about budget surpluses but never delivered one. 2 back-to-back budget surpluses that have put downward pressure on inflation and through that downward pressure on interest rates. Like, actually the serious issues, national security, like all of these questions, that's what the Prime Minister is focused on. And Peter Dutton, who should be assembling a plan that could convince the Australians that he's not a risk for future investment, which he is, that he doesn't have a dodgy plan for nuclear reactors that isn't well thought through. That's his job. He should be focused on it, but he's back to the old politics of anger and rancour and hyper-partisanship, just like Scott Morrison.
Okay, Tim, I won't keep going on about Qantas, even though I feel we have many questions still to be answered there. But I must talk to you about this because this is your realm, and we'll finish off on a lighter note. In other news, let's talk about this, a future made in Australia. There's now a plan to use Australian steel for investments into new energy infrastructure with a focus on regional communities. You're very much involved in this, of course. How much steel will be needed for the transition to net zero?
There's many hundreds of thousands of tonnes of Australian steel required, for example, in the wind sector. And this is an enormous opportunity for Australian business and Australian workers, particularly in regional Australia. Now, we've got the biggest industry policy pro-manufacturing package in Australian history, the Future Made in Australia package, together with the work that Ed Husick is leading with the National Reconstruction Fund and our industry policies more broadly. My job is to work with local communities and work with the engineering sector and the steel industry, together with the developers and business in the renewable area, and make sure that we're matching up those opportunities and we're building opportunities for Australian steel. It's the approach that the Albanese government took, for example, in rail manufacturing, working carefully with the states and the engineering companies in rail manufacturing to deliver a result now, or where we're continuing to work closely with the states, all of the states and territories that build railway, that build trains and carriages, are building them here in Australia. I want to see the same approach, generating good jobs, more good jobs in Australia's regions, because that's what Future Made in Australia is all about.
Okay, we do have to wrap things up. We've had a decent conversation there. Assistant Trade Minister Tim Ayres, thanks for your time today.
See you later.